Welcome to the Pine Resident Connect podcast, the official podcast of the Township of Pine in Allegheny County. Here, you'll find the latest township news, updates on community projects, information about upcoming events, and conversations with people helping shape our community. Whether you're a long-term resident or new to the area, we're here to keep you informed, engaged, and connected to everything Pine has to offer. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. Welcome in to the first ever episode of the Pine Township Resident Connect podcast, the Township of Pine in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Brennan Kirkpatrick. Today, joined alongside Communications Coordinator Jadyn Furge, our very, very first episode of this podcast. And Jadyn, it's pretty exciting stuff, right?
I'm really excited about this, Brennan. We've been working and talking about this project for so long, and I'm just so excited to see it finally come to life.
I know. I feel like ever since I got here, it's been just us going over several different things to make this podcast up, things I didn't even think of. And I was thinking of on the spot, just between all the equipment and the logistics behind it. Super cool to be here and actually doing this in person.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mentioned earlier, for you guys listening, it's our first episode. And what better way to start it off than the person who came up with this idea for the podcast, the person who kind of got everything in motion. It's Pine Township's Communications Coordinator, as I said, Jadyn Furge. So Jadyn, I guess without further ado, we can just jump right in. But I guess to kind of get the viewers a little more comfortable, get a sense of who you are, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of how you got into the role, why you went into communications, and just anything else you want the viewers to, or listeners, I guess it's a podcast, to know.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for the great introduction too. I'm like I said, very, very excited to get the podcast started. I've been the communications coordinator for Pine for a little over 2 years full time now. It's been such a great opportunity. I've absolutely loved, bringing communications to the township. This wasn't always a full-time position that the township offered. So it's something really cool to see and kind of build from the ground up. I started off here as an intern. I believe that was summer of 2023.
Wow. Yeah,
I know. It feels like yesterday, and it's already
senior summer, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. Well, yeah. So I interned here. It was a really, really great experience. I was really fortunate to work alongside so many great township staff, having those mentors and just learning about local government in general. It's not really something I ever thought of going into when I was younger, but now I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool. There's so many different things that go into it, just all the different departments, learning about what it takes to run a community. What's really special too is this is actually the community I grew up in. I'm a Pine Richland graduate, so
shout out Pine
Richland. Right? So it's just really fulfilling and rewarding that I'm able to give back to the community where I grew up, and that gave so much to me. So it's been a really great opportunity. I studied communications in college, I would say honestly, just because I loved making those connections with people and learning, different things about organizations and telling those stories. Every organization, no matter where you are, has such a great story to tell. And whether it's, the background of it or updates that are happening, new things going on, there's always a story to tell, and it's always a great story. So I really love that aspect of communications and just building those connections.
Yeah, no, I feel I really love what you said about the story part, because I feel like that's what a lot of local government is. And I mean, with this podcast, one of the goals is to give almost everybody who works in the township a voice in some way, just to explain what they're doing, because my experience with government, as you know, was a lot sooner than I feel like most people with being in high school in the Pine Township Youth Council. So getting to kind of see that, and then when the opportunity came along, just getting back into it. But even then, working in high school, I didn't really see how much actually went on. I heard about it,
right?
But then it's just oh, one department does it, and it just keeps on building on another thing. And I feel like it's going to be a really, really great avenue to share so many stories, so many great pieces of information about what everybody's doing in the township, just to kind of make this a great place to live and grow.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah. And like I said too, there's like, we really are such a great community. We're so fortunate to have such a, dedicated staff and our volunteers and everybody who is a part of it. Everybody's so dedicated and passionate and just committed to making Pine the best it can be. So it's been a really great experience so far.
Yeah, no, it truly has. And I guess the podcast is, like I said earlier, going to be a great area for people who may not get their voices heard or their work seen as much, kind of doing the dirty work from the back behind the scenes.
Definitely.
That's a big reason as to why we started this podcast, but not really the only one. There's more avenues for it. So this was your idea. Why don't you kind of explain why we're doing this podcast, what it's going to be, any other things about the podcast that might be beneficial for listeners to know?
Yeah, definitely. So it was kind of an idea between myself and my internship supervisor. That individual, is no longer with the township, unfortunately. She had another opportunity out of state. And it was best fit for her family and everything. But we actually worked on it together way back when. We thought, this would be a cool opportunity. Podcasts are popping up absolutely everywhere. I feel like everybody has a podcast. And another really great thing about communication is everybody receives their information differently. Everybody has their own preferences. So as opposed to like a traditional, like reading through a paragraph or a story or an article, anything like that, like I think a podcast is such a great way for listeners to get information how they prefer. I think it's something super simple. You can throw it on while you're doing whatever, whether you're driving the car, if you're doing chores at the house, whatever it might be, you can throw it on and listen. That said, too, I think the video like platform and aspect of it is something really important. Again, just the world in general is moving a lot more towards digital and video content.
100%.
Yeah. And even too, I love the idea of like being able to sit down and have these conversations. It gives us not only more time to talk to each other and understand like everybody's roles a little better, but it gives our listeners the opportunity to put faces to names and like who's doing the work that's making their community thrive.
Right, exactly. I mean, I feel like transparency is a huge form of government.
Absolutely.
Huge part of it, rather. And this is definitely going to give our listeners that, just again, put a face to a name. Like you see somebody at the community center or out doing the work and they're on the podcast, it would be a lot more comfortable or like better to see them out doing something. So you know what they do, you know what they're doing.
Definitely.
I think it's very, very helpful in that kind of avenue. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, just podcasts in general. I feel like everyone does have a podcast.
Oh yeah,
nowadays.
they're popping up everywhere.
The video portion of it too. It's also good. One area that like I kind of find interesting with that is it feels like every sort of piece of content I consume now is kind of related to a podcast in a way.
It is.
And it's all
amazing.
short form too. So being able to have the short form bits from this podcast that listeners or viewers just scrolling social media will be able to see too. Again, that's another whole avenue of a podcast.
For sure.
And the post-production social aspect of it, that's really, really going to take off.
Definitely. Yeah. And we, like, our social media channels have done great. They've responded very well to short form video content. So I'm excited to implement this tool as well. And, again, maybe they don't have time to sit down and listen to a full podcast, and then they can just go to our socials and get those little snippets of kind of like the main takeaways and things like that. Yeah. I think it's a really cool opportunity for everyone. Again, trying to adhere to everybody's kind of preference in getting their information and keeping them connected to all the great things going on.
Right. And I mean, there are so many forms of communication, like the podcast just being the latest one. But we actually at Pine, we do have multiple forms of communication.
Yes.
And that actually just leads me straight into my next question. People interacting with us, kind of getting info, if they have questions, if they have something about the podcast, if they're listening to an episode down the road and they have a question about it. This is sort of connected to the Pine RC program, as in the name, Resident Connect. Do you want to go into a little bit of detail with that? Explain some information to listeners, viewers, whatever they need to know about submitting questions or just getting in touch with the township.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's definitely another reason why we wanted to do this podcast, because we want it to be a two-way conversation. You know, we want to hear what's going on out in our community and what the big things are that people want to learn more about. So like you said, it falls under that Pine RC, Pine Resident Connect umbrella. So we have a Pine Resident Connect app where residents or people who visit the township can go on there and say they see a pothole in the road, rather than having to go to our website, see who works in that department, calling that person or sending them an email. They can go right on the app, take a picture of the issue, and then they can pinpoint right exactly where they see these things.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
It
actually.
is. Yeah, it's very cool. And I feel like it's almost an underutilized tool. Like, I think it's something, I mean, you know, maybe it's that we don't have those going on. But I definitely think it's something really cool for our residents to use. And it's right through the App Store, whether you have Apple or Android, it's accessible. And then with that too, we are going to have a category, like is what they're kind of called, and have it almost be a section where people can submit any questions that they have that they might want discussed on a future podcast episode.
Right. Yeah.
So again, I think that's really cool, like hearing it straight from the people who are leading the community and getting those answers to those questions that they might have. So I'm really excited about that aspect as well, just to get people, engaged, which is the whole point of the podcast, connecting the residents.
Yeah. No, I feel like that's a really, really neat aspect of the podcast too down the road. Obviously, it's the first episode. We're not going to have any questions in this one that aren't from me, or if Jadyn has any for me. But down the road, getting these residents really involved, because I feel like that's one of the big goals when we sit down and we talked about the podcast, getting the residents or people from the surrounding communities as well, who maybe use Pine's facilities or whatnot, getting them involved in the discussion, getting them involved in the township, knowing what's happening, and then just allowing the people working here to connect with the individuals as well. So
definitely
a really, really good app. Make sure you guys download it, install it, whatever you need to do. Get that going, but it's not the only form of communication
definitely
Pine
not
Township has. There are plenty of other areas or avenues, whether it be social media or other stuff, that you can connect with Pine. You can view all of Pine's information. Jane, if you want to go into that a little bit, where can people find us?
For sure. Yeah. So like we mentioned, like our social media is probably our biggest and like timeliest one. Is that a word? Most timely.
Timeliness sounds correct.
Yeah.
Like.
So yeah, it's definitely our most like prompt one, like if we have something going on, we're getting it out on the socials as soon as we possibly can. We also have our website, which is just a hub of all the great information. We have, like I said, so much going on in this community. So you can get all like your details and stuff on there. Our socials are just all like at Township of Pine or at Pine Community Center. And then our website as well is just twp.pine.pa.us. Little bit of a mouthful, but it covers all the bases. So in addition to that, we also have our printed newsletter, which is a really great form of information for our residents. It gets mailed out to every household in the township. We put them out about twice a year. And it just covers, again, all the great things going on. So we try to give everyone, a big heads up on upcoming events. We talk about, the one that's coming up soon will be our fall winter edition. So we'll talk about preparing for the winter, our winter road services, things like that. And it's really just a great tool for us to get everyone involved. We talk with the library, we talk with all our volunteer organizations, public safety agencies, the school district. So it really is just a great publication to get all that information in one spot. Again, those are planned much more in advance than things actually happen.
Yeah,
so the details.
I was going to say, this one isn't coming out until what? September almost, right?
Yeah, it won't be out till September. But so that's again why we kind of urge people to stay in touch with us on our social media and our website, because those details are subject to change just based on outside factors, you know, weather, things like that. So yeah, it's definitely a great avenue though. And to tell those stories again, like those are more article based as well. So people who are more visual and want to read something, they still are getting all the great information as well. More consistently with that, we have an e-newsletter too that residents, visitors, people who are in the township a lot can sign up for right on our website, right on the homepage, and they'll get an email or a text or both, whichever they prefer their communication to come through. And they'll get the same kind of monthly updates that would be in a newsletter, but we just can't obviously print and send a newsletter every single month. Yeah, so those are kind of like the big ones. Again, I'm really excited to add the podcast to that mix. I think it's going to just be honestly like the cherry on top of how people are consuming their media.
Exactly. No, this is going to be super, super cool. It's almost like the first, and we've done video content before, like with the short form. Sorry, but this kind of like this new long form content going out to pretty much everywhere a podcast is found, and plus the YouTube one, which I think will be very beneficial. YouTube is one of those platforms I feel kind of as a comms major, and you can probably attest to this too. I feel like it's kind of back on the up and up again.
For sure.
One of those platforms, I mean, the engagement rates, the viewers, YouTube does a lot to help out people who are posting on there. So that's a really, really great avenue for the township to get involved with, bringing back the YouTube channel.
Definitely.
Currently do, I believe, right?
We do have one. It just hasn't been used in a very long time. But again, this is such a great opportunity for those people who might not have a social media page on the traditional, you know, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, but they might have a YouTube page where they can just sit and watch whatever. I mean, it's
such a great app to watch stuff like this.
Definitely.
You know? So it's going to be really cool. Just again, broadening our horizons. There isn't. You can't get enough like areas to communicate with guests.
And everyone's everywhere. So we got to just do our best to reach those audiences.
Especially working in a government, like local township like this, like you got to really cover every area, every square inch of the digital field nowadays.
For sure.
Or even print with the Pine branches coming out. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's super, super cool. And the other thing with this podcast, and which I think is going to be really cool, again, just another way to kind of inform the public what's going on in the township, just kind of promoting some of the events we have going on. There isn't a whole lot that maybe is going on by the time this episode gets released to the next one, but there certainly is some pretty big things. And Jadyn, if you want to go into some detail about some upcoming events for the township between this episode and whenever the next episode will get released in August.
Definitely. Yeah. So we're really, really excited. We have been doing our summer concert series this year, which is presented by AHN Wexford. And we have so many great sponsors and people helping out with that as well. So I'll kind of get into all of that good stuff. So we have both local talent, which we did last year. We had our amphitheater grand opening last year, and we had a bunch of local artists come in, and it was just amazing. You know, we filled the park. We got to see so many neighbors and families come together and just enjoy a night in the park outside listening to live music. Like, what more could you want, right? And then, so this year we're continuing with our local artists. We've actually had a few already, and we're still continuing with it throughout the rest of the summer. But we also are bringing national talent into the mix. So nationally recognized performers, platinum selling performers, and we're bringing them right to Pine Community Park, which is just like amazing.
It's really crazy to think about too. I mean, like literally in your own backyard, you're having these national acts
literally
come in and perform a concert. Like,
it's so great. Like some residents could even walk from their houses to get here. You know, you don't have to deal with the crazy travel of going somewhere else. It's literally right in your community. And I just think it's super cool. It's been something really, really interesting. And like, eye-opening to be a part of. You know, none of us here have really worked with a national band before. So it's been just an absolute learning moment, but such an incredible one too. Like, it's really, really cool, and I'm really excited. We actually already had one come in. We had the Atlanta Rhythm section from the South. They came up and performed at our Community Day event this year. Amazing set list. They had great energy. You know, they kind of got rained out a little bit with, you know, the huge
weather has not been terrific here.
It's been your typical Pittsburgh weather.
I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, one minute it's downpouring, the other it's 90 and sunny. So.
Exactly. So yeah, that's been kind of a little challenge, but you know, we've still had amazing turnouts, great community members coming together. So our next national act is actually going to bring Sister Hazel to the Pine Community Park Amphitheater. They are a 90s pop rock, you know, they have a little like Southern folk to them, basically just music for like everyone.
Right.
And it's just amazing. You know, I know so many people who are like, oh my God, you got Sister Hazel to come to the amphitheater.
I feel the same way. I'm like, and it's like, it's just, I guess not our generation, but I'll go and I told my parents, they're like, oh, I know who Sister Hazel is. And like, I know one of my friends, their parents are really excited about it. So again, just a really, really cool opportunity. And yeah.
So what's great about those two is, like I mentioned, we have a lot of great sponsors, AHN being the presenting one, AHM Wexford. And then we also have Cinderlands and Brewster's at every show. So Cinderlands is selling, you know, great craft beers out of our concession stand. And then Brewster's, of course, has their delicious ice cream, obviously, as always. And then with those two, we have the playground that sits right above the amphitheater. So families can come, the kids can play. If your kids are out of the house, or if you don't have kids, you can still come enjoy live music and just a great atmosphere. You know, I think the amphitheater space is beautiful. It's really brought a lot to the park as far as bringing people in and just having, you know, what our goal is having people outdoors enjoying our facilities.
Exactly.
So that's been really fun. With those Thursday night local concerts as well, we've had our farmers market going. So that's been great. There's about 20 to 30 vendors. Their attendance varies weekly, so you're always getting something new. And they sell, you know, fresh produce. There's a lot of sweet treats. There's stuff for dogs. There's, you know, craft vendors, everything like you can possibly think of, someone's there. We even have a permanent jewelry person coming in who's, again, not there every single week, but you can check out the farmers market socials and they'll put everything out on their Instagram page, and we'll do our best to share those as well. But so yeah, really, it's just the perfect night out for the entire family. Like I said, Thursday nights, perfect kickoff to the weekend. Nothing too crazy, but you're still getting out, enjoying the nice weather and enjoying all the live music and everything else that comes with it.
No, it certainly is. And I've been to 2 of the local concerts already so far, and both of them have been a fantastic time. Just being able to hang out with your friends, grab some food from the food trucks that also show up to these events.
Right.
That's another big thing. And then just even walking around the farmers market before, I mean, just some of the stuff is really, really cool what they have there. Some great food, great merchandise. Whatever you can think of that at a farmers market, more than likely it's showing up.
Right.
So again, it's a really, really cool opportunity for people of all ages.
Definitely.
Just to kind of like go hang out, listen to some music, and just have a really, really cool night.
Yeah.
Really close to home.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been great. And like you said, like the food trucks are like a rotating line each week too for each local concert. National Concerts has the food trucks as well. So again, you're always getting something different, you know, whether it's the classic food you always love or you're trying something new. It's just a great experience for everyone.
No, it truly is. So shout out the concert series. Anything else coming up?
Yeah, so we have a little bit more time on this one, but our other national act that's coming. So we had Atlanta Rhythm section, Sister Hazel's up next. Then in September, we're getting the Wailers, like the people who performed with Bob Marley, which is just like another crazy, crazy one. Like, again, just right in our backyard, we're getting these huge bands coming to Pine Community Park, and it's just such an exciting experience. Like I said, that one's not until September 17th. So we definitely have some time, but you'll definitely want to get your tickets now because these are selling out
100%.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
So the way that works too is you can go online on our website right on the homepage and purchase your tickets. Pretty inexpensive. They're pretty relatively fairly priced. So you can grab your seats right in the amphitheater bowl. If you want to be sitting there and be able to see the concerts, definitely recommend going online and buying your tickets. You can definitely still come for free, bring your own lawn chair, enjoy the show sitting in the grassy area, surrounding the amphitheater. But again, if you want to get that view and actually have a secured seat, I definitely recommend going on and buying
100%.
tickets.
Yeah. And the way the amphitheater is structured too, it sits down into the hill.
Right.
So no views are guaranteed that you'll actually see the band, but you'll still be able to hear their music.
Absolutely.
If you want to come and just chill out in the lawns for free. But definitely recommend getting a ticket if you want to be down in the amphitheater itself, hanging out.
Definitely.
And get a reserve seat. Anything else in the township?
Those are kind of the big ones right now. I mean, we obviously have our regular programming, which our parks team does a phenomenal job with. They bring so many different new experiences to the community, and they really do an amazing job of tailoring from youth to an older demographic. Like everybody has a program they can sign up for.
Yeah.
So again, checking out our website, staying up to date with our social pages, you get to see all those really cool programs and events coming.
Yeah, no, I was just about to ask you, where can they find information on that? So took the question right out of my mouth.
Just ahead.
but that's about it for this episode of the Resident Connect podcast. Jadyn, where can people find you if they want to get in contact with you, if they have a question or anything?
Yeah, definitely. So my email and phone number are on the website, as well as everyone who is a staff member here. Like we mentioned, I do communications. So if you go under that departments tab right on the website and go to the communications page, my contact information will be right there on the right. So I can be, they can contact me through email or phone number.
That's awesome. Well, Jadyn, thank you so much for sitting down
for
the first episode of the Resident Connect podcast. We'll be back posting these about once a month regularly. So stay tuned for that. But we want to thank you all for listening to episode 1 of the Resident Connect podcast. Again, make sure you follow us on all our social channels, and we will see you later. From Jadyn Furge, I'm Brennan Kirkpatrick. Have a good one, everyone.